Hey grade 10s, here's a lesson on deduction tables. So previously, we learned that we could figure out the CPP and EI using calculations. Just a reminder that those percentages are from the old percentages, but the whole idea is that we could use percentages to figure out the CPP and EI, and they are very straightforward calculations. Unfortunately, the calculations for federal and provincial taxes aren't quite so straightforward, so we're going to use those deduction tables. And you have a copy of the deduction tables with you, so here we go. Let's get started. Kaylee is a fitness instructor. Her weekly gross pay is $750. Using claim code 1, find her deductions and her net pay. So let's start off by looking at her deductions. So we're looking at CPP, EI, federal tax, and provincial tax. The important information in the question is that she has a gross pay of $750. And we're using claim code 1. So using the deduction booklet, you can go ahead and find $750. And for CPP, it is $37.21. For EI, you are looking at $11.85. Then we're shifting our focus to the taxes. Just remember, it's claim code 1, so it'll be the second value in. For federal taxes, $61.95. And for provincial taxes, $57.15. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and add those together to get the total. So $37.21 plus $11.85 plus $61.95 plus $57.15 gives us a grand and glorious total of $168.16 for Kaylee's deductions. Now her net pay is going to be $750 minus $168.16, and that's going to give us $581.84. That is her net pay. If you're not sure where any of those values came from, please reach out. I'd be happy to clarify. Next example. And for this next example, we are going to add a little bit of extra stuff to it. The extra stuff is we're going to add an optional deduction. So let's read the question first, and then we can do our addition to it. Darren works for Manitoba Hydro. He makes $109,000 per year. He's paid weekly. So we're going to add one thing here. We're going to add one thing. We're going to say that he pays $200 for his pension. Okay? So part A, find his weekly gross pay. Part B, find his deductions using claim code 3. Part C, find his net pay. So for his weekly gross pay, it's just going to be his annual salary divided by the number of weeks in a year and when we do that, we're going to get $2,096.15. That's his weekly gross pay. Now for his deductions, The optional deduction here is going to come into the calculus of this, because now all of a sudden the taxes have to take that into account. So for CPP and EI, we will go ahead and look for 2096.15. And that'll help us with CPP and EI. So for CPP, we can go ahead and find that it's 110.69. For EI, it's $33.12. And we found both of those using the gross pay. Now we have to go a little bit of a different direction for the taxes. For the taxes, we have to calculate the taxable income. And the taxable income is whatever the gross pay is, so $2,096.15, minus all of the optional deductions. In this case, there's just one. And that leaves us at $1,896.15. And now we are going to use this number right here in order to figure out the federal taxes and the provincial taxes. So if we go to federal taxes, we are looking for 1896.15. And I find it from 1896 to 1912. We're using claim code 3, so that's the fourth value in. I've got 274.10 for that. And for the provincial taxes, fourth value in is 217.55. So there we go. Now we have all of our deductions labeled out. So we found the deductions. Now this question doesn't ask us to find the total deductions, but it probably makes a lot of sense to do that. So the total deductions would just be $110.69 plus $33.12 plus $274.10 plus $217.55 plus the optional deduction of $200 for the pension. So we're going to add all those together. And we get $835.46. That's the total for the deductions. Now for part C, where it says find the net pay, that's just going to be the gross pay, $2,096.15, minus all of the deductions, which is $835.46. and that gives us a net pay of $1,260.69. It's not necessary for intermediate values to have dollar signs on everything. But if you're figuring out your total deductions, your gross pay, or your net pay, all of those should absolutely have dollar signs on them. So don't forget them. Okay? So that's how we go ahead and use the deduction tables and also the idea of optional deductions to figure out the net pay. And of course, we're using those good old deduction tables to help us figure out the values for CPP, EI, and the federal and provincial taxes. We're going to do one more example here, and that's this one down here. Sheila designs specialty birthday cakes. The bakery pays her $15 per cake she bakes. The number of cakes she made last week is given in the table below. So we're going to find the gross pay, find the deductions, find the net pay, and we're going to add an optional deduction here too. And we're going to say she pays $45 into health benefits, like dental, vision, and all that fun stuff. Okay? So we're going to figure out her weekly gross pay. To figure out her weekly gross pay, we're just going to take all these numbers and we're going to add them up together. So 6 plus 8 is 14, plus 5 is 19, 28, 31. So it gives us a sum of 31 cakes. So every cake she gets $15. So that would be 31 times 15 would be $465 for her gross pay. What would her deductions be using claim code 2? Okay, so now we're going to shift it up a bit. Claim code 2, that doesn't come into effect for a little while, but claim code 2, we have to figure out CPP, we have to figure out EI, we have to figure out taxable income, then we have to figure out the federal and the provincial taxes. So, first things first, let's grab that behemoth of a booklet and look up $465 for CPP. So if we look up $465, we are going to see that it's going to be $21.67 for CPP. For EI, we're going to look for $465. And we're going to find that it's going to be $7.35. For the taxable income, we're starting at $465, but she pays $45 into health benefits. And that leaves her with a taxable income of $420. Now, for federal taxes, we are going to go ahead and look up $420. And because it's $420 on the nose, we can go ahead and use 416 to 420. Claim code 2 is the third one in. $11.95. For provincial taxes, we'll go to 420. See how we can get to that. There we go. Third number in is $20.25. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll figure out the sum of all those deductions. And when we're figuring out the sum, we are going to be adding CPP, EI, federal taxes, provincial taxes, and we also have to keep in mind that we have that invisible 45. It's not really invisible, but we haven't written it out until now, okay? So we can go ahead and add these up together, and that'll give us our total of our deductions. So $21.67 plus $7.35 plus 45 plus 11.95 plus 20.25 gives us a total of 106.22. So the total is $106.22 for those deductions. And now part C, if we want to find the net pay, it's just $465 minus 106.22, and that's going to be $358.78. That is the net pay. All right, so here was some examples on how to use the deduction tables, and also a reinforcement of how to figure out deductions like income taxes and whatnot when you are using optional deductions such as health benefits or pension, and how they impact your taxable income and therefore impact your federal and provincial taxes. If you have any questions, please reach out and ask.